Will the Packers offense get back on track this week and secure a win for this Packers defense and quiet the noise about Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love's jobs? I will tell you what to expect in this game preview for the Green Bay Packers versus the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm cashed.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sounds Gouda. My name is Jordan Olson and I am your host for today's episode. I got a few more episodes where I'll be rolling solo while Rob Ralph gets to spend a little bit of time with his family. As always, want to thank any new and returning listeners for being here. Love that we have such a dedicated audience, and we're definitely excited to welcome any new members and returning listeners each and every week. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So I'm still running that promo. If you want to win a Sounds Gouda hat, make sure to be a public subscriber on YouTube. When we get to that 700 mark, we're going to go ahead and give away another hat. And we've unlocked super chats, super stickers, and super thanks. Just another way you can interact with us and support us on our YouTube channel. So let's jump into this matchup versus the New York Giants. They come into this game at 2-8. The Packers are 7-point favorites. As we know this season, the Packers being favorites or heavy favorites has not really done them any favors. So we can kind of take that, especially with this being a road game at MetLife, and kind of throw that out the window. The Packers have struggled at times to go into that building and win games. We don't have to look very much further than 2023 when we went in kind of hot and let Tommy DeVito take us down in that matchup. So that was a big letdown then, and hopefully we can avoid a big letdown this week. And what seems like a must-win game. Packers have dropped a couple games that they should not have this season. Had a tough loss against the Eagles last week where they could not get the offense going. So I think that's been the chatter all week long, right? Can this Packers offense get back on track? A lot of criticism about Matt LaFleur's play calling and overall coaching of this team. So there's a lot to prove in this game versus the Giants. And does this offense need to go out and score 30? They should against a team like this that's really beat up, kind of down and out. They've lost some of their star players that are household names for them, like Malik Neighbors and other kind of upstart rookies that have really brought some new life and energy to this Giants team. Guys like Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. Jackson Dart's going to be back, but Cam Scatterbo, he's done for the year, right? So in comes Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston's been around the league a while. You know that he's a capable downfield passer, has the propensity to throw interceptions. Hopefully he can throw a few of those the Packers' way this week in his first start of the season. But that's kind of tough too, right? We've got no tape on Jameis Winston. We don't really know what to expect of him in a Giants uniform. And then to add more change and unscouted looks in there. Brian Daboll is out as the Giants head coach. Interim head coach Mike Kafka takes over, and you know that there's a lot of history of teams coming out with a new coach and kind of getting that win, having that energy of a change in the locker room, new leadership, and really hope the Packers don't fall victim to that again here this week. So, and Kafka's a guy who's previously interviewed for several head coaching jobs. He's interviewed with the Saints, the Bears, and the Titans, and he has some pedigree. He was with the Chiefs for a while and was the quarterbacks and passing game coordinator there when they won, I think, Super Bowl a couple years ago. So he's been a guy that's been with the Giants as their offensive coordinator since 2022. Their offense hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. Can't really figure out what happened with Daniel Jones and that failed experiment there. He seems to have taken off in Indianapolis. So, hard to say, but it seemed like he had things going the right way for Jackson Dart. Another big storyline in this game, really, as you look around, Lots of injuries for both teams, players that are out for the rest of the season, and some players that are just questionable are going to miss this game. On the Packers side, obviously, we have the big injuries and losses of Tucker Kraft and Elton Jenkins. Looking like Nate Hobbs is still going to be out this week, although your mileage may vary on whether the Packers are better or worse with Nate Hobbs in the lineup. I think everybody is enjoying Carrington Valentine out there right now, including myself. So I actually think that's a little bit of a blessing for the Packers at the moment. But the Packers have some question marks at the wide receiver position. I don't know if we're going to have Matthew Golden out there. Savion Williams showed up on the injury report. He's questionable, but it does look like Romeo Doubs is going to be healthy enough to play, at least according to his injury status on Friday. So hopefully we can get him back out there. Hopefully Matthew Golden could play and be a fourth wide receiver on this team to mix in there with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Malik Heath. Like I said last week, probably going to continue to roll with reinserting Bo Melton back into this lineup, at least until Jayden Reed comes back. We may see Jayden Reed as soon as next week against Minnesota, but we're not going to have him available in this game. On the Giants side of the ball, there are a lot of key guys out. Not only the guys that I've mentioned already, Jackson Dart still in concussion protocol, Cam Scatterbo, Malik Neighbors, but Chauncey Golston, their defensive end, Evan Neal, offensive tackle, Darius Slayton, which has kind of been their most consistent and kind of mainstay wide receiver there over the last couple years outside of Malik Neighbors, and Kayvon Thibodeau looks to be out. They have another of other players that are doubtful for this game, including Tyler Newman, Olson Adebo, and some other guys along their front. So, kind of looking at the team ranks and kind of how the Packers rank or stack up against the New York Giants. Obviously, the record is quite a bit better for Green Bay. They've lost some games to teams just like this Giants team, so certainly not going to sleep on this matchup. But, the Packers are a better football team on paper. I still am a believer, but used to strongly say that the Packers would have a significant advantage in the coaching department. I definitely believe that on the defensive side of the ball right now. So we'll see. The Giants coming into this game, they're 24th in the league in points scored, 27th in the league in points allowed, first in the league in run defense. They're giving up 152 yards per game on the ground. That should favor this Packers team that really wants to get the ball moving on the ground, run the offense through Josh Jacobs. Although I really hope that doesn't give Matt LaFleur more permission to just kind of try to run it on first and second down. Like he doesn't know that it's an option to pass on first and second down, but we will see. The statistics would tell you that the Packers should be able to run the ball against this Giants defense. They're also not great against the pass, third in the league in passing yards given up. So should also have an advantage in this game with Jordan Love and this wide receiver core on being able to win through the air. So both teams right now are not doing a good job of taking the football away. The Packers have a -1 turnover differential and the Giants have a -4. So you can say this every week, but I certainly think it's true here. If the Packers can win this turnover battle, maybe end up taking the ball away from Jameis Winston a couple of times, that's certainly going to help. So I'm going to flip over to PFF and review a few key matchups for this game. Right, starting on the Packers offensive side of the ball. So, like I mentioned before, the Giants have some key injuries on this side of the ball. No Kayvon Thibodeau, but they still have a pretty good defensive front. You've got rookie Abdul Carter out there. You've got Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. So that's the one place of this Giants defense that really I think they could win, especially against this struggling Packers offensive line. You're going to have a new established starting offensive line room with Sean Ryan entering at center. And then, Jordan Morgan's got to be the mainstay there at right guard now. So we will see if this Packers offensive line can hold up against this Giants defensive line, which is probably the one true strength of this defense at the moment. Jordan Love has been uncomfortable in recent weeks against pressure. The Packers tackles have been pretty good of late. But this interior offensive line has certainly been vulnerable, and with more moving pieces, that's going to be something that I'm going to watch out for in this game. If this offensive line can hold up, keep Jordan Love clean, there's lots of opportunities for him to move the ball down the field against this weakened and injured secondary, right? So this shows Paulson Adebo available right now, according to PFF. He is doubtful if Paulson Adebo can't go. Let's see here. That brings in guys on the corner room that look like, Deontay Banks and Cordell Float, maybe Corey Black. Guys like that are going to have to step in and play corner for this team. So I really like Drew Phillips from a couple years ago. He probably plays slot primarily, but can also play on the outside. So maybe they put up Drew Phillips and put him on one of the outside matchups, and kind of see what that looks like. This safety room, potentially without Tyler Nubin for this game. You got Javon Holland up there, but I think that there's definitely opportunities for the Packers to win over the top against this kind of mid safety room. And I think particularly if they get Matthew Golden back, and they could put Matthew Golden and Christian Watson on the field like we've been talking about for a little while now since Christian Watson's been back. I think that they can really stretch this Giants defense. And if Matt LaFleur commits to throwing the ball, this New York Giants linebacker room and should be taken advantage of over the middle of the field. So if they can get guys in the slot, get Dontavian Wicks going, maybe find some space for Luke Musgrave, definitely opportunities for the Packers to win through the air in this game. And then, like I mentioned, this unit has not been good against the run. I'd have to imagine a lot of that has to do with the linebacker play as well. So if the Packers can block that up, allow Josh Jacobs to get into the second level, we should see a more efficient and effective run game this week. Like I said, time and time again, I just really hope that Matt LaFleur is not going to handcuff his game plan to try to do that. Really hope that he has been listening to the media, listening to the critics, seeing the results of his game plans, and be willing to unleash this passing attack and really trust Jordan Love to move the ball down the field. So those are some key matchups on the offensive side of the ball that I see. I'm going to flip over to the defensive unit. So what do we have here? Obviously, the New York Giants aren't going to roll out many household names in the wide receiver or tight end rooms. Really, the only guy that scares me at all that they have left is Wan'Dale Robinson. And Wan'Dale Robinson is a pretty good and capable slot threat. But after that, you got guys out here like Gunnar Olszewski and Isaiah Hodgins. They also have Jalen Hyatt as well, that was drafted a couple years ago. I'm not quite sure that he has lived up to his pre-draft pedigree and kind of what he projected to be, but the Giants are pretty thin. I think that they only have 4 healthy wide receivers and nobody that's going to scare you. So if Carrington Valentine, Javon Bullard, Keyshawn Nixon can continue to play at or above the level they've been playing at over the last few weeks, I really think that they're going to struggle to move this ball down the field through the air. They're going to want to get the things going on the ground. Tyrone Tracy has shown that he is a capable running back in the past, but I don't think that he is the threat or brings the juice that Cam Scatterbo was bringing for a couple weeks there. Jameis Winston, we've already talked about him. He's certainly capable of hurting you down the field. He's got a big arm, but he also has been known time and time again to put the ball in harm's way. So really going to hope guys like Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams can potentially take advantage and pick him off this week. And if we get a turnover or two, the Packers are going to be in good shape to win this game and potentially, really shut out or kind of really slow down a Giants team who is not proven to be able to score many points consistently throughout this year. Another area that you got to look at, kind of mentioned the Giants offensive line. Evan Neal is out. You've got a familiar face there in John Runyon Jr., but this isn't an offensive line with a bunch of A-list guys. Andrew Thomas is really, really good, but Andrew Thomas can't block Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and Devontae Wyatt and LVN if he's back. So I really hope that Jeff Hafley is able to kind of get creative, maybe find a way to blitz Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper and kind of really challenge and threaten the interior of the Giants offensive line. But, I think Hafley's shown that he wants to try to win with 4. And against this offensive line, I think that this unit is capable of doing that, generating tremendous pressure. And hopefully, unlike the last couple of weeks, maybe come out of this game with a couple of sacks. Be really, really nice to see Micah Parsons walk away with like 2 sacks and Rashawn Gary to get 1 and really kind of make Jameis Winston uncomfortable back there and force him to throw that ball up and cause those turnovers. I think that that's kind of a quick look at some key matchups. I think that there is a significant talent difference on both sides of the ball for the Packers, and it's really going to come down to the coaching and discipline that we've been talking about with this team. If the Packers can avoid making the costly penalties, these penalties that have been drive killers, illegal formations, pre-snap penalties, really all the detail stuff. And I think as much as the play calling has been frustrating, I think that's been the biggest thing you look to Matt LaFleur is the discipline and the details of this unit on offense. So really, I think the Packers are the only ones that can beat themselves in this game. But I'm not going to go out, as I've said before, and predict a big, 27 or 30-10 victory for this team. This offense really has a long way to prove it. And I think it would go a long way if the Packers could just go out, score at least 2 touchdowns and put together at least, 4 scoring drives in this game. That leads me into my final scoring prediction. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Packers don't light up the boards offensively, but they do make a step in the right direction. They end up winning this game 20-10, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, look more competent and in rhythm. I hope that they find a way to kind of find some tempo and for Jordan Love to get a little confidence and mojo back as we head into Toyotathon time, where we've seen Jordan Love be at his best the last 2 seasons in the second half of the year. So that's what I got for you, folks. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, this preview of the Packers and Giants game on Sunday. More great Packers content from Sounds Gouda every week on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Thank you for listening. Please share this with your family, friends, and other Packers fans. If you're a Giants fan here, thanks for checking it out. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. We do our best to get back to every comment made on our YouTube channel, but you can also check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Connect with us on X. I'm at Olson Jord and Rob is at Sounds Gouda with 3 A's. But until next time, Packers Nation, have a Gouda morning, a Gouda afternoon, and a Gouda night. Go Pack Go.
Been wanting this shit forever.